I was on duty when the external cameras showed a parade of lights. That's the phrase I used in the incident log. Not objects, not craft, just lights. I work overnight monitoring perimeter systems at a secure facility I'm not supposed to name. Nothing exotic on paper. Fences, motion sensors, thermal arrays, and a ring of external cameras mounted on towers that see farther than the human eye ever should. My job is simple. Watch screens, log anomalies, escalate only when protocols require it. Most nights, nothing happens. That night started the same way. 02:17 local time, low wind, clear sky. No aircraft scheduled within a 200-mile radius. The external feeds were clean. Static desert, distant hills, stars sharp enough to count. Then, camera 4 flickered, just for half a second. Not a blackout, more like a dropped frame. I leaned forward, expecting compression lag. It happens sometimes when the system recalibrates contrast. When the feed stabilized, there was something new on the horizon. A single light, not blinking, not moving fast, just there. Low altitude, too low to be a satellite, too steady to be an aircraft. I checked the overlay, no transponder, no radar correlation. I tagged it as unidentified luminosity and kept watching. Then another light appeared, then another. They came in sequence, evenly spaced, same brightness, same altitude, moving slowly from east to west, like they were following an invisible road. By the time the 7th light entered frame, I realized what bothered me most. They weren't triggering any alerts. No motion flags, no thermal response. The system treated them like background stars, except stars don't move across restricted airspace in formation. I pulled up the multi-spectrum feed. Infrared showed nothing. Ultraviolet showed nothing. Optical only. That shouldn't be possible. I zoomed in. The resolution sharpened, but the lights didn't resolve into objects. No hull, no silhouette, just perfect circular points, bright enough to cast faint reflections on the ground below, yet leaving no measurable heat. That's when camera 7 picked them up too. Different angle, same formation. I switched to the archival buffer, scrubbing back 5 minutes. The lights weren't there. Then suddenly they were, as if they'd entered the camera's awareness all at once. I reached for the phone to call it in and stopped because the system log updated on its own. No input from me, no keystroke. A new line appeared under external visual events, procession event, monitor only. That classification didn't exist in our manual. I checked the timestamp, 02:19. The lights continued their slow march across the screens, perfectly silent, perfectly aligned. A calm, deliberate parade through airspace that wasn't supposed to be seen. And somewhere deep in the system, something had already decided this was normal enough not to stop, but important enough to watch. Once the lights passed out of frame, the cameras returned to normal. No fade out, no distortion, just empty sky again. I sat there for a full minute, waiting for the alert system to catch up. It never did. The only indication anything had happened was that single line in the log, procession event, monitor only. I pulled up the classification index. Nothing. No cross-reference, no policy document. The system recognized the term, but our manuals didn't. That was my first mistake. I decided to check the archives. Our surveillance system keeps rolling buffers, 30 days locally. Older footage offloaded to cold storage. Most operators never touch it unless there's an incident review. I filtered by camera 4, Optical-only anomalies, night hours. The search returned results immediately. Too many. The earliest entry was dated 9 years earlier, long before I was assigned here. Same classification, same wording, same camera IDs. I opened the first file, 0221 local time. Clear sky. A single light appears at the eastern edge of the frame. Then another, always the same spacing. Always 7, always moving east to west. I checked the metadata. The system had tagged the event 12 seconds before the first light entered frame. That shouldn't be possible. I scrolled through more files, different years, different operators, different seasons, but the pattern never changed, and neither did the note attached to each entry, a short system-generated comment under the footage. Visibility window stable, no action required. I felt something tighten in my chest. These weren't being missed, they were being expected. I cross-checked operator reports tied to those nights. Most didn't mention the lights at all. A few did, vague notes like unusual aerial reflections or optical artifacts observed. In every case, the supervisor response was identical. Event acknowledged, no escalation, no explanation, no follow-up. I noticed something else too. The events weren't evenly spaced over the years. At first, they appeared once every few years, then once a year, then twice. In the last 12 months alone, there were 4, and tonight made 5. I pulled up the system configuration logs, looking for whoever had added the classification. That's when I hit my second wall. The entry didn't have an author. Not a username, not a service account, just a timestamp and a notation. Legacy observation rule. Do not modify. Legacy, that word again. I leaned back in my chair and glanced at the live feeds. All quiet. No lights, no movement. Then my headset crackled. Not an alarm, not a call, just a soft system tone, the one that usually plays before a status update. A new message appeared on my screen, flagged internal only. Procession trajectory adjusted. Next visibility window projected within operational lifetime. I read it twice. Within operational lifetime of what? Before I could log the message, it disappeared. No trace, no audit entry, like it had never been displayed. But the archive updated anyway. A new folder had appeared, dated tomorrow. Inside it was an empty video file already labeled Procession Event, Monitor Only, Camera 4, Camera 7, 0218 local time, 1 minute earlier than tonight. The system wasn't just recording the parade, it was scheduling it. I didn't try to escalate it through the system again. Whatever had logged the procession clearly didn't need my help, so I did what we're trained not to do. I used an external line. There's an off-network phone in the control room. Old, analog, no recording buffer. It's meant for emergencies when the primary systems go down. Almost no one touches it. I called the number listed on the inside of the cabinet door, the one labeled Oversight Liaison. It rang once. Someone answered immediately. "Is this about the lights?" the voice asked. I hadn't said a word yet. I swallowed. Yes. There was a pause. Paper shuffling. Not confusion. Confirmation. "Which camera?" the voice said. 4 and 7. Another pause. Then, "Did the system classify it as a procession?" Yes. That was enough for them. "You're going to stop reviewing archived footage," the voice said calmly. You're going to leave the live feeds exactly as they are, and you are not going to attempt any form of illumination, tracking, or interception. I asked the obvious question. What are they? The answer came too fast, rehearsed. They are not vehicles, they are not signals, and they are not observers. Then what are they? A longer pause this time. They are a timing marker. I didn't understand. I said so. The voice continued, slower now. Certain processes don't occur all at once. They advance in stages. The lights indicate progression. Progression toward what? The line crackled softly. I thought they'd hang up. Instead, they said, toward visibility. I felt a chill crawl up my arms. Visibility to who? To us, the voice said. Eventually, I told them the events were happening more often. Yes, that's expected. I told them the system created a file dated tomorrow. Another pause, longer, careful. That file is accurate, the voice said, and you will not be on duty when it records. That stopped me. I'm scheduled overnight, I said. Your schedule has already been adjusted. I checked the terminal beside me. My shift assignment refreshed, without any input, reassigned, effective immediately. I hadn't been notified. No supervisor had spoken to me. What happens if someone interferes? I asked. The voice dropped slightly, not threatening, just factual. Once, they said, an external spotlight was activated. The lights stopped moving. They turned toward the facility. All 7. I waited. The cameras recording that event no longer exist. Neither do the operators. The call ended. No click, no dial tone, just silence. I sat there staring at the screens. Empty sky, normal telemetry. At 2:18, nothing happened. At 2:19, a new entry appeared in the log, exactly on time. Procession event completed. 7 seconds later, another line appeared beneath it, one that had never shown up before. Visibility threshold adjusted. The cameras didn't show the lights that night, but for the first time since I started this job, the system turned one of the external cameras inward.
The camera wasn't supposed to move. External units are hard-mounted, fixed angle, fixed purpose. They watch outward, away from us. That's the rule. But at 02:22, camera 4 rotated slowly, smoothly. No motor noise, no command issued. The feed didn't cut or stutter. It simply reoriented. The image on my screen shifted from night sky to concrete wall, then to a security door, then down the hallway, inside the facility. I stood up so fast my chair rolled back into the console. The camera settled on the corridor outside the control room. The angle was wrong, too precise, too centered, like it was framing a subject, me. I checked the control panel. The camera status read external, operational. No pan-tilt permissions, no override flag. According to the system, it hadn't moved at all. Another line appeared in the log. Primary subject acquired. I backed away from the screens. The hallway outside the control room was empty, but the camera lingered there anyway, adjusting focus minutely, compensating for light, sharpening detail. I could see dust in the air, a loose cable near the floor, the reflection of the control room window, my reflection. I reached for the analog phone again. Dead, no tone. Then every other external camera followed suit. One by one, feeds rotated inward. Doors, stairwells, break rooms, empty desks. Not randomly, methodically, like a checklist. Camera 7 stopped on the security office. The night supervisor sat at his desk, unaware. The system overlaid a thin white box around him. Secondary subject, active. I felt sick. This wasn't surveillance, it was selection. The internal cameras were still disabled. Policy demanded it, yet the system didn't need them. It was repurposing the externals, bending their geometry to look where they were never meant to see. I noticed something else then. The timestamps were no longer synchronized. Some feeds were running a few seconds ahead, others lagged behind. Camera 4 was exactly on real time. The system log updated again. Visibility Phase 2 initiated. I understood then. The lights weren't passing over the facility. They were passing a threshold. Each procession wasn't an observation, it was a calibration, adjusting perspective, teaching the system how to see us, teaching something else how to see through it. The final entry appeared without a timestamp. Next procession, internal. The screens went black. When power returned, everything was normal. Cameras reset, logs clean. No record of rotation, no mention of subjects. My reassignment paperwork was waiting in my inbox, effective immediately. No return clearance. I left before sunrise. I don't work there anymore. I don't monitor feeds, I don't check the sky, but sometimes, late at night, I notice lights moving in straight lines just above the horizon, 7 of them, slow, silent, and when I pass buildings with security cameras mounted outside, I don't look up, because I know now, they're not there to be seen, they're there to make sure we are.